Good evening, one and all, and welcome to this very special presentation from the team here at the Duncairn Centre in the heart of North Belfast. My name is Conor Caldwell. I'm a local resident and musician here, and I'm delighted to have been asked to present this new venture from the team, which we are calling Take Two. As a young musician, I used to regularly walk past this building, and like many spaces in North Belfast at the time, it was in bad need of a few fresh ideas and a bit of investment. Luckily, that investment was to come in the years that followed, and Bill Shaw and the team at the 174 Trust saw the potential not just in this building, but in the wider community of North Belfast. Since the centre opened in 2014, I think it's fair to say that the community has repaid that investment 100-fold. Of course, 2020 has been a very difficult year for us all, whether as individuals, in our own family units, or in the wider community. At the Duncairn, we've been forced to come up with some new ideas for how we present music and creativity to you in the community. Earlier this year, we embarked upon our Duncairn Cabaret event, which helped over 120 musicians and artists to earn a gig fee when there was no work at all. And just a few weeks ago, we took you on our travels with us as we went down to the Carlingford Heritage Centre in County Louth to meet with Zoe Conway and John McIntyre and to learn a few lessons that we can bring to our work here at the centre. Now we're ready to set off on the next stage of our journey, and this project is called Take Two. It will be streaming live on our YouTube and Facebook pages every 2 weeks, and we're going to be bringing you the very best of music and creative practice from Belfast, and we're focusing especially on local artists. We have spent the summer months as a team here in the centre upskilling ourselves, learning how to use cameras and fix lighting and to digitally edit programs such as this. And we hope that you'll come along with us on this journey. We know that the product is going to improve every week as we get more comfortable behind the camera, and we hope that you'll see the progress that we make along the way. This evening, we're going to start with music from one of the finest local artists that there is, and that's Joshua Burnside. Joshua has won widespread critical acclaim for his recent album Into the Depths of Hell, and he has received 9 and 10-star reviews across magazines and review programs all across the board. He's also released 2 EPs this year, which showed more experimentation in traditional Irish music, and he even wrote a beautiful slip jig himself. Laura Quirke is also appearing on the show this evening. She's one half of the duo Lemoncello, who have of course played many times at the centre here before. Laura is on her own this evening, playing some of her own songs. But a challenge that we like to set our artists regularly here is to collaborate with one another, and Joshua Burnside and Laura Quirke have struck up an incredible partnership for the show this evening, which I'm sure you're going to enjoy. We also have visual art from Tim McCarthy, whose work in the community has been widely appreciated as he has set about turning the visual relics of the Troubles into community-centred art pieces. But first on the show this evening, we're going to have poetry from Colin Hassard. I'm delighted to announce that Colin is our writer-in-residence now at the Duncairn Centre, and his work has made us laugh and cry and reflect on our own lives in equal measure over the years. So I'm going to step away from the camera now and leave you in the capable hands of Colin Hassard. Buonigi Saltus.
Okay, pipe down, settle down. Let me give you the rundown of 2020, the year of the down. Profits are down, employment is down, wages are down, and the news reports are downright depressing, with everyone stressing over an economy that is continually regressing, with no sign of convalescing. Businesses are flailing, closing down and downscaling, but come Friday afternoon the remaining workforce will, without failing, down tools and down drinks, for it's all plain sailing until the Saturday morning come down. But with the sausage bap down the hatch, you're right as rain. Then it's down to the shop, so come on down, the price is right, because the price is marked down. But money's tight, so we're all wearing hand-me-downs, even the up and ins feel like down and outs. Petula Clark has gone downtown on a downtown train where every night is just the same, with everyone downbeat, downhearted and downtrodden. Up is down and down is down, and the middle is still the middle, but it's facing down. Status quo, we're down, down, deeper and down. Armagh, Antrim, Fermanagh, Derry and Tyrone are all down. Down was already down. And despite the piracy crackdown, all we do in our downtime is download, but you know, we all need to just, calm down, cool down and wind in our necks, because life could be worse. You see, I don't want to talk about lockdown or about the economy being downgraded. I'm just jaded and a little frustrated thinking about where our energy should be dedicated, like breaking down barricades, shaking down walls of segregation and separation, put down the weapons, open up the fists, learn the repeating lessons, and let's stop talking down and dragging everyone down with anger and negativity, because negativity creates more negativity. This community wasn't lost overnight and it won't be rebuilt overnight. We're a long way down, but with a few changes to our mentality, we might be all right. Homeless people, foreign people, black people, white people, British people, Irish people, let's remove that first word and just leave people. Or better yet, the individual, the person. And even if they were trying their best, which they're not, we can't wait for the honourably selected and elected to take care of this mess that we have on our streets, because like it or not, it's up to us. You and me. Now, I don't want to preach down to you, but with all these downs, it won't be long before there's an up, in the form of an upsurge in the people who have had enough, had it up to here. For there's only so far we can be pushed back and down by negativity and fear. So keep your chin up, your head up, and do your best to turn that frown around. But if you're really determined to be down after all of this is over, you can follow me down to the nearest street party where we can all get down. I'm human and a dancer. My name's Colin Hassard, and I'm from County Down.
This is called The Last of the Light. Breathe in the rays of the evening sun, inhaled west like any other insect, tender to the texture of the air, that gold dust scintillating down the daydream. Oh my Lord, oh Lord, oh my Lord, oh Lord, oh my Lord, oh Lord, oh my Lord, oh Lord. Passing through, passing over, ochre, orange, orange, amber. The last of the light rusting on the old trees of the hill. Let it go now, your sickness surrender, the night will come, let your heart be still. Oh my Lord, oh Lord, oh my Lord, oh Lord, oh my Lord, oh Lord, oh my Lord, oh Lord. Stand in the flood before it leaves you, saturated by the sound of the birds, their accents strong, unbending as ever, carved by the mountain, formed forever. Oh my Lord, oh Lord, oh my Lord, oh Lord, oh my Lord, oh Lord, oh my Lord, oh Lord. This is called Hunger That Snatches the Bread. Easy stillness, sitting on the edge of time. Everything could change by the clock's next chime. A moral confliction is a raging war inside my mind. Black and white flags burning, civilian thoughts are dying. Silence of my mother's voice on the phone, and I'm looking for answers. Fingers sucked into the mindless flow, scrolling helplessly. Surely Google knows. Seagulls swell the Dublin dove is circling over my head, and it will not rest until it is fed. It's hunger that snatches the bread. It's hunger that snatches the bread. It's hunger. Hunger. Until a solution is found, we swim in the residue of empathy, failed experiments of friendship and honesty. Until hunger is sated, we are at the mercy of its beast. What will be lost while entitlement it feeds? And I'm looking for answers in the eyes of an innocent criminal, an evil child. And I'm looking for answers in the faces of people at the bus stop, looking up at the sky. Seagulls swell, Dublin dove is circling over my head, and it will not rest until it is fed. It's hunger that snatches the bread. It's hunger that snatches the bread. It's hunger. And I'm looking for answers in an empty belly echo of the Phibsborough churches. And I'm looking for answers in the flame of a stolen 50-cent candle. Praying to the God that made the art, praying to the God that drove Harry Clark, praying to the good in the human heart. At my wit's end, going back to the start. Seagulls swell, Dublin dove is not at peace until it is fed, and of course it will go to any length. It's hunger that snatches the bread. Seagulls swell, Dublin dove is circling over my head, and it will not rest until it is fed. Hunger that snatches the bread, hunger that snatches the bread, hunger, hunger, hunger. This is a poem by a man named John Ovarian, and he was a 19th century American-Irish poet. And he wrote this about the sand dunes of the desert. And I put it to music, and here it is. White grey sand dunes marvel us with mystery. White grey sand dunes marvel us with mystery. Golden now in sunlight, deep and living, with your millions and millions of dew. Above your shifting vastness, a deepness of blue. Above your shifting vastness, a deepness of blue. Sky vivid, like a flame as it touches your crests and ridges. What majestic word are you speaking now, out of your ages and ages and ages and ages of growth? What is in your mind, grey sand, and your heart's desire? What God is your real God, grey sand? You who follow the wind and obey its word, you who follow the wind and obey its word. You who follow the wind and obey its word. You who follow the wind and obey its word. you came, from what quiet, unfathomable depths. Out of the waters you came, from what quiet, unfathomable depths. But now you too be talking to the light and reaching out into the sky. This is a song called Seesaw City and a folk song called Silent O'Moyle. Dublin City, all along the Liffey, I feel the ground beneath me tilt and sway. The bridges we built for one side to meet the other are beginning to bend and crack beneath the strain of the fat man sitting on one side, the skinny one straddling the other, living on the edge, waiting for the hinges to come off for the seesaw game. Which side are you on in this seesaw city? One side slipping off, one side sitting pretty. Hard to know if a cup of coins is half full or empty. How can some empty buildings be so goddamn heavy? Battling a passive-aggressive rain, a mist that you can barely see, but soaks you all the same, drowning those on the street, doing their 9 to 5 from a sleeping bag, and you can hardly spare time to look her in the eye, never mind spare change. Which side are you on in this seesaw city? One side slipping off and one side sitting pretty. Hard to know if a cup of coins is half full or empty. How can some empty buildings be so goddamn heavy? Beneath the city's weight, and those strings sing Silent O'Moyle, one by one as they break. For those like Fanula with a secret over the sea, returning home to a mother who loves conditionally. Which side are you on in this seesaw city? One side slipping off and one side sitting pretty. Hard to know if a cup of coins is half full or empty. How can some empty buildings be so goddamn heavy? And there are two sides to every story. There are three sides to every story. There are 500 ways to see it. There are 6,000 ways to tell it. There are 7 billion ways to see it. Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Silent, O Moyle, be the roar of thy water. Break not, ye breezes, your chain of repose, while murmuring mournfully Lear's lonely daughter tells to the night star her tale of woe. When shall the swan her death note singing sleep with wings in darkness furled? When will heaven its sweet bell ringing call my spirit from the stormy world? Sadly, O Moyle, to thy winter wave weeping, fate bids me languish long ages away. Yet still in the darkness doth Erin lie sleeping. Still doth the pure light its dawning delay. When shall that day start mildly springing? Warm our isle with peace and love. When will heaven its sweet bell ringing call my spirit to the fields above?
Unsurprisingly, that first poem was called Down. And in case you're wondering, I said the word down 56 times during that first poem. The second poem, we're going to stay in the county of Down, as my hometown is Banbridge. And down that neck of the woods, some people know me as the Fresh Prince of Banbridge. Now, this is an old yarn all about how I got pulled over doing laps of the town, so howl on a minute and don't dare budge. I'll tell you how I got scooped in a town called Banbridge. Boom, ch, boom, boom, ch. In South East County Down, born and reared, a Peugeot 106 is what I drive there. Handbraking, raking, flaking down roads, I would give a wee toot to all the dirty hoes. When a couple of peelers in an unmarked yoke said, "You've got no insurance and your licence is revoked." So they took my car, and if that weren't enough, they called my ma, and she went nuts. So I phoned Q cabs, and when they arrived, I was waiting 40 minutes for that taxi ride. But I said nothing because the driver was tight. I thought, man, forget it, you're home to Banview Heights. He pulled up to my house off the Lurgan Road, and I jumped out and yelled, "You!" Walked in the kingdom, grabbed a beer from the fridge. Thank God I got out of that town called Banbridge.
This song was called Rana the Fortunate. Thrown into a golden cage, renamed the breeder a grace, but all the finest silk of the land couldn't tie up my arms, tie up my hands.
As for all the sweet perfumes, and for all the flesh consumed, nothing could change, yes, that I knew, and by the grace of He went I.
I have known the pleasures of man, the honey spilled over my hands, and now an angry God commands blood on the altar.
As the drunken soldier slept, through the palace gardens I crept, on a throne of feathers I have slept, but now I am awake.
And all along the dunes of the Dardanelles, a holy rifle on my shoulder and 50 pounds sterling I kept in my pocket. I know very soon will be of no use to me, be of no use to me. We rode through the night on a truck to the coast, the arrows of Vulcan above us. I sway my hips to the beat of the bombs and salute the fallen. Know the joy to hear it, so lonesome you wouldn't believe it, is all the world is born again, naked and wailing.
This is a song called Something You Need to Know. Sarah sits in the passenger seat and ponders the thought of taking the wheel, being more than indulged or humoured navigation, the comfort of feeling as though she's directing, gesturing left Gesturing right, turn round out here, pulling at the side of the road. There's something you need to know. The two of them there sitting side by side, David driving and Sarah beside. The splashing rain on the window screen, the straining drain of nature's spleen. Gesturing left, gesturing right, turn around down here, pulling at the side of the road. There's something you need to know.
David dares his eyes to glance over. You can already feel the heat rising off her. Condensation closing in makes it hard to see the road in front of him.
Gesturing left, gesturing right, turn round down here, pulling at the side of the road. There's something you need to know.
Saved by the radio, once again a song comes on to take them out of their skin. I'm in love now as they listen to the words that others have sung so that they don't have to.
Gesturing left, gesturing right, the hum of the engine, a hum womb like daring feet upon the dashboard speaker, sweet desire for more. Rotting away from her core. David resigns to indicate, and the engine cuts by the edge of a lake. The song plays on, the final refrain, their only wish for it to remain. Playing again and again. Gesturing left, gesturing right, turn round down here, pulling at the side of the road. There's something you need to know.
My name is Tim McCarthy and I work full time as a street artist here in Belfast, and my street art name is Vers. My father was always sketching in the house. He had no formal art training, but he always did little pencil doodles and left them around the house. And it was only later in life that I realised that these things had a profound impact on me when it came to my own practice and myself choosing a career as an artist. I was just always surrounded by imagery. And then when it came to choosing subjects in school to do O-levels and then A-levels, I chose art for no real reason at all. And it was only after I chose to study art that I actually fell in love with it. I had a very inspirational art teacher who kind of thought outside the box. He wasn't very prescriptive, the way that some art teachers can be. He allowed you to think for yourself and create. He allowed that freedom, which is, I suppose, what art's all about. But this guy was kind of, just do what you feel, do what you feel and we'll make it work. We'll get it into the exam in some way. And going to a Christian Brothers school. It was a very liberating thing, you know, because everything else was, you must do that, you mustn't do that. And this guy, we just couldn't wait to get down to the art class just for that sense of freedom, you know. So after I finished grammar school, I decided to go to art college. And for some bizarre reason, I chose the jewellery making degree because I thought, well, it's a safe bet and it's going to be full of girls. No real interest in it. Didn't finish my degree and had an opportunity then to go off to Cameroon in West Africa with the World Wildlife Fund and Operation Rally as an illustrator, producing little pamphlets for the local villages, because all the local villages were so remote they ate a lot of bushmeat and they were eating a lot of endangered species. So the idea was gently educating local communities into conservation without being, I suppose, ramming it down their throats, as it were. So I got back from there and I got a job in the BBC as a broadcaster. They'd got me in to interview me about local boy meets witch doctor in jungle kind of story, and I just talked and talked and talked, and afterwards they offered me a job as a cub reporter for youth programmes, and I worked in there for 7 years. So left there in 1990 after nearly 8 years, and got straight into community arts. Like Banbridge District Council asked me in to do a graffiti project, and as soon as I let off that first burst of paint on the Saturday in front of the community group, I just went, this is me, this is what I want to do. I'm home, because you're creating very large pieces of art. It's very liberating. But in parallel to community arts, there's my own practice. What I used to do was a thing called subvertising, which is climbing up ladders very late at night and changing the meaning of a billboard. So there was one in particular, and it was a woman in a bikini sprawled across the bonnet of a car. So I had produced this large speech bubble and pasted it on beside her head, and it said, "I don't need to be here." So I produced for years this entire body of work on billboards. With my own practice, I then moved into painting dogs. This burning in my belly, this is the thing for me. Just love dogs, love painting gable walls with a big dog's head. And that kind of morphed very quickly into using dogs as a metaphor for not judging people by how they look. And this thing took off, so I started a body of work about 5 years ago called The Dogs in the Street, and that's all I've been painting since, our dogs. So then lockdown came along. As a person who works almost exclusively outdoors with groups of people, what am I going to do? Out of the blue one day, I got a call from Duncairn Arts Centre to say, would you come in and have a look at the space, because we'd like you to produce a piece of work in response to lockdown. And I just instantly got this idea in my head without giving it too much thought. Sanctuary is going to be the theme of the piece of work. The work's actually called Om Padme Hum, which is a term I heard in Nepal. So the artwork itself, I said I'm not putting my dog in it. I've been painting the dog now for a couple of years. And the more I thought about it, I thought, well, hold on a second. The dog gets me out every day during lockdown. The dog is part of my whole positive mental health. And without the dog, I would probably have made excuses not to go out and do exercise, but the dog needs walked. So I thought, right, our Sky's got to get into this mural. I decided to paint Sky and Sky beside a snail shell. And what does a snail shell do but offers protection to the snail? And I was able to mirror the other side of the mural with the Om symbol as well for a bit of symmetrical balance. And all through the piece I have done shards of COVID tape, or are they part of the stained glass, you know, the little panels of stained glass and so on. And you can see in the background as well, I have some mathematical formula, and that was my struggle with homeschooling. You know, the most simple concepts that my daughter would have been given as part of her maths homework that a first year should fly through. I'm sitting banging my head off the table because it was just like advanced mathematics to me, because I failed so miserably when I was at school. But all along, during the whole process, I learned quite a lot about my practice, not focusing on a particular aspect of the design, but being flexible enough to take that out and replace it with something else. But it's good. It's a learning curve. Even after painting and doing murals for this long, you're learning every day. And I was just really glad of the opportunity to be able to do this and leave it behind as a legacy, because I'm constantly working with new groups of young people. So I would go in, and obviously my art form is quite exciting for young people to get involved. So it's great sitting down with them, because young people are full of ideas. Young people may not be comfortable expressing themselves verbally, but you put a page in front of them, and very often, once they know they're under no pressure and they're not being judged by their artistic ability, and that what they're doing on paper could eventually end up on a 20-foot wall, they can go. You just give them the space to be creative, and it's kind of given me that ability to judge people less by what they say or how they look or where they come from. And that has been probably the biggest payoff for me as a street artist or community artist over the last number of years.
I'm only joking, of course. I love Banbridge and I love Belfast, but most of all, I love Tenuous Links, and I also love America. So I'm sure, like many of you, we've been watching what's happening in America in the wake of the George Floyd murder and the birth of the Black Lives Matter movement. And back in July this year, I felt inspired to put pen to paper and wrote this poem, which is called I Can Breathe. What can I say? Ireland is not America, so what message can I convey about the fires raging many miles away? Ireland is not America, but America is not America, at least not what it perceives itself to be. Somewhere the American dream of opportunity got turned into a nightmare where the words I can't breathe reverberate in its sleep. And me, I've been to America 7 or 8 times and always tried to venture out beyond the have a nice day smiles. And I found myself in bus stations and neighbourhoods where the only white face was mine. I saw poverty. I saw inequality, and I can see that Ireland is not America, but up north we know a thing or two about dividing lines. Our news used to be swamped with bombs and killings, but when I was a child, I vividly remember the report about Rodney King and the LA fires. Now new fires are being lit, but they're from the same kindling. And while there's no arguing that all lives matter, all lives are not being battered on the head. All lives are not having tear gas sprayed. All lives are not being choked by a knee in the throat. All lives are not equal. All deaths are not equal. And all murders are not being treated as such. I don't know if the colour of my skin has ever opened doors, but it certainly hasn't caused any to be shut. It never stopped me from being given the chance to succeed. So while I can breathe, I agree that Ireland is not America. And up north, we've got our own fight against racism on our streets. But no matter where you reside, the source of racism is always in people's minds. So what we have to do is try, to learn, to change, to challenge, to teach, and that's the same for me. I've read work by Maya Angelou, James Baldwin and Langston Hughes. And while I understood the meaning of the words, I couldn't empathise with what they went through. But I would rather read those texts than names like George Floyd, Eric Garner, Tamir Rice, and the many, many more who've died. So while individually we can try, collectively we can succeed in turning every dream of freedom, justice and equality into reality, no matter your nation, colour or creed. To this I pledge allegiance while I can breathe.
How's it going? We're going to play some songs from the new record, Into the Depths of Hell. This one's called War on Everything. She said, I feel lonely when I'm with you. Lonely when I'm with you. It's when you're with me and not with me. You're with everybody else. Killed a million things tonight. Fly to the mud and the dusty light. Just to have you to myself again. I would have waged a war on everything. Do you remember when we first met? It was like something from a film. You were passed out on the balcony, understood disturbed by the cacophony of Paris in the morning, into the mystic blur night of a party long abandoned, save for a few true never-enders. Then it was off to the cold coast, where old ghosts are often heard the most. She said, you think you're smarter than you are. I said, I'd trade all to know you more than at the margin of the ocean, waves crashing in the dark, screaming, Mr. Tambourine Man. Oh, I love what I knew of you then, and you loved what you knew of me then. Become a stranger to myself. Have I become a stranger to you? No, become a stranger to myself. Said I feel lonely when I'm with you, lonely when I'm with anyone, like those old ghosts you sing about. Yeah, that's how I feel now, like a vampire's reflection in a mirror far away. You could only see me again, you could only see me new again. Yes, I'd wage a war on everything, yes, I'd wage a war on everything. I'm a stranger to myself. Have I become a stranger to you? No, I've become a stranger to myself. Cheers. This is the first time I've played to a socially distanced audience. Most of the audience is made up of people who work here who are working on this project, but it's still really nice to have that it feels kind of normal. Anyway, this song's called Noah Mercier, and yeah. Noah, Noah, Noah Mercier, you are the blood that flows through me, flowing, flowing, flowing like the blue Danube. Noah, Noah, through the heart of an empire. Noah, Noah, Noah Mercier, under cinnamon apples, glowing, glowing, cast monsters on the mezzanine. Noah, Noah, or furs of Calcalpin. Noah, when you fell from your podium, the flaming petroleum, you said you saw me swimming in a black ocean. Noah, oh, what did you mean? Noah, I am afraid to die. I was never one for heights until you lay beside me. So won't you hold me again? Noah, Mercier, I love you. Noah, oh how I long to see Killow in evergreen.
It's so nice to be back in the Duncairn. It's such a beautiful place, full of beautiful people that do beautiful things, and it's nice to be a part of that.
Oh, when I was younger, my parents were out working. Your voice is in the attic, faces in TV static, tigers in the garden, ghosts under the stairs, and under my bed behind the curtain, always feel the presence lurking. Now that I am older, the only thing I fear is myself. Yeah, the voices in the attic were mine. Well, I don't know what I did last night, and I don't know what I said to make you run a mile from me. There's thunder in my head. Oh, when the day is dying, I take my potion and float above that endless ocean. But careful friend, this useful tonic will boil the blood inside your stomach. And the only thing I fear is myself. Yeah, the voices in the attic were mine. Yeah, the only thing I fear is myself, yeah. Well, I just can't find peace in my soul. No, I just can't find it. For this persistent illusion that everything is moving forward is the weather vane to spin, spin, spin. And the only thing I fear is myself. Yeah, the voices in the attic were mine. Yeah, the only thing I fear is myself. Yeah.
This next song is called Will You Go or Must I?
We treaded lightly through the park. It was as grey as a newly dead, for the ash and the dust had combined and was lying from the suburbs to the sticks. Never met a soul to bring a little swing to the rhythm of a day so long and still. I'm afraid I never will hold a conversation without water or window. I awoke from the dream. 100 years it might have been. Oh, the clouds were gathering with clothes on the line. Never mind, as the breeze blew a poster down the street. Oh, the bold typeface read, will you go or must I? An artist throws his speckled arms into the air. Mr. Freud reveals the void in our hearts where we thought we knew the light from the dark. But there's only sex and murder in the back of our skulls. Still that fire bird sings, cuts us open with its wings. Oh, the glory when the lightning brings the horses down the mountain where the ancient people dwell. There's no water in the well. Oh, the notes that swell and spin, they won't fill empty bellies. Still we march in line together for the progress of your betters. Oh, you better eat your bread, my friend. The multitude is staring. London, Paris, Rome, Berlin. We will fight and we will win. Hold me, darling, I'm ashamed. So will you go or must I? The next one is another song from the new record. It's called Nothing For You, and it's about being skint. And I think it's even more. I wrote it before all the mayhem that we're in now, and I think we're all going to be skinter for a while. We'll have to get used to that. So I hope this song is some comfort to you out there on the dole or whatever it is. It's not easy not having that much money. Well, I have nothing for you today, my love. My wallet is empty. I spent the whole lot on taxis and cigarettes and drinks in the bar. Now I have nothing for you today, my love. Well, I have nothing for you today, my pet. No eggs for your breakfast, nor bread for to set you up for the long day ahead. No, I have nothing for you today, my pet. No, I have nothing for you today, my pet. Well, I have nothing for you, my sweet darling. If I had enough money, I'd buy you a ring. For I'm worried someday you'll run off with a doctor, 'cause I had nothing for you, my sweet darling. Yes, I had nothing for you, my sweet darling. My mother, before she died, told me, son, if you must be a singer, well, you ought to run down to the dole office and sign on today, for that's where you'll be collecting your pay. Yes, that's where you'll be collecting your pay. No, I have nothing for you today, my love. My wallet is empty. I spent the whole lot on taxis, cigarettes and drinks in the bar. No, I have nothing for you today, my love. No, I have nothing for you today, my love.
This next song is called Whiskey Whiskey, another new one from the album. And yeah, it goes like this.
Whiskey, whiskey, no ice in my whiskey, please. The plain lurches, my stomach flips, and I look to the cabin crew for signs of concern, but they don't give much away. I am an Ulsterman, a goddamn liberal, a man of reason. Oh, the little things we tell ourselves to give us back a bit of meaning. I mean, God's been dead for a while, so if there's nowhere for our souls to go, then I don't want to be so sober. So whiskey, whiskey, no ice in my whiskey, please. No. Wouldn't take a genius to work it out. I've had my fair share of conversations with twisted metal and broken glass. Well, if lightning's gonna strike me twice, this time I'm gonna do it right. Whiskey, whiskey, no ice in my whiskey, please. Whiskey, whiskey, no ice in my whiskey, please. I ain't gonna die sober. No. Plain lurch is my stomach flips and I look to the cabin crew for signs of concern, but they don't give much away. No, they don't give much away.
Thanks so much. This could be our last tune, and it's called Blood Drive. Yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed Laura Quirke. She was fantastic as always, and yeah, keep supporting the arts, support the Duncairn Centre, support us struggling musicians and artists of all shapes and sizes, kinds. This is our last song. Thanks. Is that right, Kate? Yeah. I should really know the keys to my own tunes, man.
Firework night, coffee or wine, in paper cups now when the power cut, and at the edge of time, no, it's a silent crowd. Where they blocked off the roads, now nowhere to go. Say it's a blood drive, warnings from on high, sparks in the dead night. Hope your book is right, blood drive, thunderous light from the church to the bunker. I lost you in the running crowd. Blood drive past her light, St. Peter tonight. They're afraid of the needle. Blood drive ammunition on tin cans, red and white armbands. I felt dizzy at the sight. But when the white horse runs and the helicopters come, and when the beasts are at the door, from the heavens noxious creatures pour. Oh, you know it's the blood drive, warnings from on high, sparks in the dead night. Hope your book is right, blood drive, thunderous light from the church to the bunker. I lost you in the running crowd. Blood drive past her light, St. Peter tonight. They're afraid of the needle. Blood drive ammunition and tin cans, red and white armbands. I felt dizzy at the sight.
Cheers. Thank you so much for watching. Cheers.
I'm going to turn away from America now and back towards home. And I'm sure you would agree that we're all having a turbulent year with everything that's been going on. But on the horizon, we have the looming shadow of Brexit And while people much smarter than me are debating the ins and outs of all that, I think I may have the solution for the North right here. This declaration is a proclamation for the formation of a nation that will henceforth be known as the Republic of Northern Ireland. Our geographical firebrand shall have no more fragmentation, no more condemnation, no more indecision, and no more party political division. There shall be no more disorder, no hard border. We shall become a self-sufficient land of harmonious sisters and brothers, and our main export will be golfers. We shall have one Tito to rule them all. The national drink and national dance will be the buckshake. Crisp sandwiches will be atop the list of national dishes. And in accordance with everyone's wishes, a kick up the hole will be available through our free health service and administered automatically to anyone involved in politics. That includes the Green Party mob. I quite like their policies, but they once turned me down for a job. Speaking of which, greater power will be given to those currently working to make this place better. The nurses, teachers, all the key workers and all those within the arts. However, we must all play our part. Our first task is to lobby the Olympic Committee into making drinking an Olympic event. The next is to ensure the phrase Derry Londonderry is never used again. It's Derry or Stroke City. But to stop certain groups from going Becky's, everywhere east of the ban will have a London prefix. London Newry is to have its city status removed and given to London Banbridge. You'll be legally allowed to speak English, Irish, Ulster Scots or whatever the hell you want, but everyone will be fluent in Ballocks. And depending on the context, all nouns that refer to a thing should be prefixed with the adjective we, except when we itself is the noun. In such a situation, the correct expression should be a wee slash and not a wee wee, or indeed a wee wee wee. A new wee flag and a new wee national anthem will be created by a collective of wee children who have yet to develop cynicism. Weather temperatures will no longer be listed from cold to hot. Instead, they'll range in ascending order from Baltic to nippy, to nice, to close, to powerful, to the sweat will be running down your arse cheeks. Further details will be communicated in the coming weeks, but anyone gurning about this declaration will be told to howl their wished, as well as being invited to smell their ma's and informed that their da sells Avon. We've got a lot of work to do, but very soon I'll be welcoming you to this new utopian wee country known as the Republic of Northern Ireland.
So that's it from the very first episode of Take Two, brought to you by the team at the Duncairn Centre here in North Belfast. We hope that you enjoyed music from Joshua Burnside, Laura Quirke, the spoken word from Colin Hassard, and of course, beautiful graphics from Tim McCarthy. We hope that you'll be with us again in 2 weeks. This programme is going to roll out bi-weekly on our Facebook and YouTube channels, so please spread the word, help us to tell North Belfast's story and to explore the creative sector in our wonderful city. Until then, ihoy.